Hey, so you might have received a file, a JSON file for this coding assignment, and in this video we will explain what you have to do in this assignment. And the assignment probably looks like this. You might have received some steps on what your program has to perform, and these steps have to be performed on this file, this JSON file that you see on your right. So few things about this coding assignment. First, you can write this piece of code in any programming language of your choice. So if you are good in Python, use Python, Node.js, your choice. So use any language that you like. The second thing is that you can take the help of internet when working on this assignment, this coding assignment. So this coding assignment typically, different people take different time for this assignment. So we think 40 minutes of time is a good time for this assignment. So try to finish this in sooner time than 40. Some people even finish in 30 or sometimes in 20, but that's okay. We are not trying to time each and every second, but the sooner the better. Okay, so let's see what you have to do. Again, you can take the help of internet. So you want to copy something from Stack Overflow while working on this assignment, you are free to do that. What you cannot do is that you cannot take the help of a real human, right? So if there is a neighbor nearby, please don't ask him. Or if don't post this question on internet asking for help, right? So okay, so the assignment is that here's our JSON file. What you have to do is, the step one basically says is that first thing you have to parse this JSON file. So what I mean by parsing a JSON file is that it's a large file. So this file has like lots of lines, some 27,000 lines, as you see at the bottom. Okay, so when we say parsing, we mean that the JSON file, I will press the collapse button here against line number 5 against body. So basically, when I say parsing, I mean that when I press the collapse button, this notepad software that I'm using, it collapsed everything which was inside body. Okay, so it has basically parsed this JSON file. It knows the start of the body and the end of the body. So the first step is that you need to parse the JSON file like this editor did. So in your favorite programming language, just look for a JSON parser. Search on internet on how to parse JSON in your programming language, and you would know the start and end of the body object using that library, or the start and end of let's suppose these recommendation objects that you see right now. I'm pressing lots of collapse buttons in front of you now. So that's parsing. So that's step one, pretty easy breezy, by the way. The second step basically says is that you have to go inside body object and then inside the recommendations object. Okay, so to show you what I mean is that the parent body object and the child of body object, which is recommendations object, recommendations have further some 12 sub objects, more objects inside recommendations. So let me rather, for better viewing experience, let me rather do this. Let me copy the contents of this file, okay, and paste them in another program. You would be able to have a better view of this long JSON file. Okay, so I have this JSON viewer. I found this by searching on Google for parse JSON online, and it was some 4th or 5th result. So here I am. So I had copied all the contents from this file. I will paste them here. Okay, then I will press the viewer tab. Okay, watch. So again, these 27,000 lines of code have been converted into they have been basically collapsed into objects, have been collapsed into other objects. So what you have to do is, I will open the steps again. So what you here have to do is that you have to go inside body. You have to go inside body. So I go inside body and then inside recommendations, and let me open the first recommendation. So what recommendations that you see here? There are 12 recommendations here. As you see, what recommendations they are basically is that this JSON file basically shows some recommendations about restaurants, nearby restaurants. Okay, so you have to open the first recommendation, and as the step 3 says, you have to print the name of the restaurant. So you have to basically print this. Okay, so you have to basically print Palace Restaurant. How we want the output to be, it's also mentioned there at the bottom of the steps. So once you print the restaurant name, like restaurant 1 here, print Palace Restaurant, then you have to go inside the menu of this object. So in this object, we printed restaurant name. Now there is a menu object. So I will go inside menu as step 4 says. Then step 5 says that loop for each menu. There can be multiple menus. So let's see how many menus we have. We have just one menu. Inside this menu object, we have just one item. So you can have multiple items inside menu. So if there are multiple, just loop for them. Okay. So I will go inside this item, and then I will check. Step 6 says that I have to check whether type is section header. So let's see, there is this parameter named type, and it says that it is equal to section header. So if it reads section header, if it is, then go inside its children. So it's section header, type is section header, I will go inside the children object. Okay. The next step says that open the child one at a time. There might be multiple children. Okay, so you open one child, and step 7 says that check whether the child that you are currently now, whether its type property is equal to item. So the type property, let's see the type. Here's the type property, and as you see, it is equal to item, like step 7 was suggesting. So if it comes out to be item, then step 7 says, then if it is, then you have to check whether selected property is equal to 1. So you have to see that type is item, and you also have to check that selected is 1. If both are there, then you have to print the name of the item and go inside its children. So so if both are true, then you have to print the name of the item. So basically what you have to do is that you have to because the type is item and selected is 1, you have to now print the name of this item, which was hamburger. So you printed Palace Restaurant first, like here. Okay, then you went inside menu, and then you went inside children, and then you verified that selected was 1 and the type was also item. So if both were there, then you printed the name here, which was hamburger. So inside Palace Restaurant, you printed the name of the item. So basically you printed hamburger, and then inside hamburger, so after printing the item, after you have printed the name of the item, then you have to go inside the children. So you go inside the children here. Here are the children, 4 children here, And for each child, you have to then select, you have to now see whether the selected is 1 or not. It says whether the selected is 1 or not, you have to check. And it also says that you need not to pay attention to type. So this also has some type, okay? And like in step 7, we were always ensuring that type is item. But this step 8 basically says that now that no need to actually look for what the type is right now. So once you are inside the children of item, so this was an item and we are inside the children. Once we are inside the children of the item, only keep looking for selected is equal to 1. No need to look for the type, okay? So this says that if this was also selected is equal to 1, then print the name of the child. So you had to print this name of the child, because selected was 1. So first you had printed this, you had printed Palace Restaurant, okay? Then you had printed hamburger, okay? Then you had printed meal editions. Whoops. Then you had printed so you had printed, let's see what the print the name of the item goes to, okay. So on step 8, what you have to do is, if the selected was 1, then print the name of the child, which we have done. We have printed meal editions, and go further deep inside the children. Now this is important. So because selected was 1 and we have printed it, so we went inside children once again. Okay, so, and which takes us to step 9, which basically says that we need to repeat the step 8 infinitely. So what basically means that because we had printed this and we had printed this, because selected was 1, so once we have printed this, we had to go inside, further deep inside the children, which we went here. And now we need to see again whether it is selected 0 or 1. Step 9 basically says that we need to repeat step 8 infinitely, which basically means that we have to, after printing this, we have to go inside children again, and we had to see whether it was selected 0 or 1. So if it is 0, no need to print this and no need to go further inside the children, okay? But imagine that, let's suppose this was selected as 1. This was selected is equal to 1, okay? If it was, then you had to print this and you had to go further inside the children. And then you again had to see whether it was selected as equal to 1 or not. And if it was, then you had to print this again, you had to print this again and further go inside the children, okay? And you need to, likewise, you need to go inside the children, you need to keep printing inside the children into children into children until you find no children at all. So for example, in this situation, there are now further children deeper than this thing. So this thing reads honey mustard dressing. There are no further children down there. So you need to infinitely go deeper inside the children until you are done going to the deepest child. And you need to print your stuff like this. The output should look like this. You should write the name of the restaurant first, the item that you found, which was selected is equal to 1. Then you print the child inside item 1, which was also selected is equal to 1, okay? You need not to print the children which were not selected, okay? Then child inside the child, because if you print some child, you have to go inside the children of that child, okay? So you need to print the child of the child. Let's suppose under meal editions, let's say under meal editions we found So for example, under meal additions, which was selected as glue 1, let's suppose we had found coleslaw, which was 0, but imagine that we had found that house salad was selected. Right now in our screen, in our video, as you see, this is not selected, but imagine this was selected as glue 1. If it was, then you had to print house salad like this. Under, you had to print house salad under the meal additions, which is very important. So this string of arrow, it is very important that you to print this string of the arrow, because if this is getting printed, only then we know that your system is able to identify the depth of the child when it is printing some child. Okay, so basically you have to print the restaurant, the item inside the restaurant, the child inside the item, and then the child of the child, and then further, just in case if there are more children inside 1.1, then it could be child 1.1.1. So you need to keep going deeper and deeper until there are no children left, and then obviously you would come back one step back, and finally there might be restaurant 2 likewise. All right, so this is the output that we need, and so that's the whole assignment. You might have some questions. If there are any such questions, give me a call back immediately, and we would fix those questions right away, and I would wish you best of luck for this assignment. Again, there might be some we again think that finishing this assignment soonest possible would be great. So good luck there. Thanks. Bye.